welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we're going to be sitting down with a bunch of folks to talk about Season 18 as well as Season 19 from the community and how they feel about some of the things, especially with the garrisons and the recent changes to Hourglass. All that and more on this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They're the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled Podcast to support this content and more. If it not for them, I would not be in the place that I am with the gear that I have. So, and because of that, I always like to call them out on every episode to let them know how much I appreciate them. So with that, thank you to A Chick, L Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Crazy Frog, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Jeff H, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Kylia the Aficionado, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Blue Crab, Reaps Revenge, Registella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Sea Leg Sam, Shoe Daddy 13, Skamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wailing Witch, Wild Hog Murph, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hegger Owl, Jeff H. Oh, I already said Jeff H. I always do that. It's always in. Dang it. It's habit now. Where did I leave off? Oh, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller. Oh, now I did it again. I'm messing things up. See, usually I would just stop this at this point and start over again. I'm not going to. You guys get to hear the raw version of this. Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support. I really do appreciate it. And as always, a reminder, it's just, something you want to do, not necessarily something you have to do. So I appreciate it regardless of whether you can or can't support. It just helps take care of the bills for the podcast. And a lot of that goes to Adobe, because Adobe is very expensive. And I really, really hate that they are, but they offer tools that are just better than other free tools out there. But that's how it is. So with that, pirates, let's get into it. Welcome everyone to the March and the official 8th anniversary of Sea of Thieves. We're doing our Gold Hoarder episode this month, and I'm sitting down with a bunch of fine folks to chat about the game. And we're going to be talking about a few of the things that happened as a result of last season and the new season for season 19. So this week, we're going to be chatting about the garrisons or Garys to see how everyone likes those, don't likes those, see the general feel for how those came across and whether or not people have been engaging with that content. And then also we're going to be talking about the Hourglass changes that came in, because the Hourglass has been stagnant for quite some time. But we got some new cosmetics that were added to kind of buffer the pace between 0 to 100, as well as the redives and the supplies and stuff. So we're going to be talking all about that in this week's episode. But before we get into any of that, I have to start with introductions. So thank you to everyone that's coming in and chatting with me. Starting off with the top of the list and working our way down. We're going to start with A-Chick. A-Chick, how you doing? Welcome to the stream.
Hi, I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Appreciate your experience coming in with Hourglass. Next up, we've got Evil Morpheus. Evil Morpheus, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Logan. How are you?
Good.
I'm at work.
No worries. I appreciate you coming. So next
No
up,
problem.
we've also got Godhammer. Welcome in, Godhammer. How you doing?
Greetings. Happy community weekend, everyone.
Yay. Then we've also got Registella coming in as always. Regis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's 7:06 a.m. in the morning, 8 degrees Celsius, and it is starting to get colder and darker quicker. because
Yeah.
daylight savings is interesting.
Yep, you're moving into your winter now. Hope the summer was enjoyable though.
It was a sweltering one, though. We had a nice cool Christmas, like a nice chilly Christmas
Nice.
for
Glad to hear
once. Yeah, but it's Tassie, so weather is like crazy.
it. I definitely understand that. And
Yep.
last but not least, we have Static Mirror. Static, how you doing? Welcome back.
Doing pretty good. Beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Probably 50 degrees and slightly windy. Beautiful day.
That is way too cold for my weak body. All right. Well, I wanted to kick things off because we had a delay in the Act 3 for Season 18. So we did not get those when I was expecting. And I was genuinely curious to see how it was going to land, given what I had experienced in Insiders when garrisons were being tested. With the delay, we only got 2 weeks worth of time for those to be active in Season 18. And I don't know if this is technically true, but for whatever reason, I feel like mega stashes are still active past the initial 2 weeks that they had been set for Season 18. I think people have been getting mega stashes, which was only supposed to be till Season 19. But something tells me maybe they programmed it for 4 weeks like they originally intended. And with the delay, it just never got changed. But I'm curious to hear if anyone has any thoughts on the garrisons as they've been implemented now as part of the world, especially with the commendations for the logs or the weird kind of using the pixie sticks on the treasury captain. Like if you guys like that or if not, how do you guys feeling about the garrisons or the Garys altogether? Are they a good addition or are they a lackluster addition?
I think they're a great addition. I'm glad that they finally added some extra things to the roar. I think it was needed. You and I actually discovered that you could get the mega stashes from the raids because we got one and we didn't originally think that could happen. So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, we actually had quite a bit of luck the times that you and I had been running garrisons. I think we hit 4 consecutive that were all mega stashes.
4 in a row.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. Anybody else have any thoughts on the garrisons? Morpheus?
Yeah, Logan, I had some thoughts. They're good. They're really buggy, but after you complete all the commendations, they're kind of not worth going back to be honest with you. They're not lackluster, but I don't think they hit where they were supposed to.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Static, what do you got?
So I agree with Morpheus a little bit. They are quite buggy. There's a lot of issues. A lot of times skeletons are getting stuck, not spawning right maybe. And I've had it a couple times where the Vault Master, if he gets killed too close to the wall, his key will spawn and drop in the wall where you can't reach it.
Ugh.
But it is really disheartening. And these garrisons are quite good for raids, specifically Athena. Doing one dive raid under the Athena flag will get you to 4.5 off of one garrison. So if you're looking to actually boost Athena fairly quickly, because before the quickest way to like do Athena stuff was a veil, because that's where you'd get the most Athena loot. And actually these raids drop a bunch of Athena loot, and it's quite lucrative, and it will get you up to level 4.5. So maybe do a tad bit of island hopping before you go to hand in, or maybe sink a skeleton ship, and you'll be at level 5 before you get back to the outpost.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea. I haven't actually run Athena as a raid voyage for it yet, because it feels like it's been kind of lackluster on the loot.
The loot is scattered and hidden all over inside the garrison. So like when you open up like the main bar area, there's like two goblets or maybe a skull hiding in there. And then throughout every room that you unlock, there's more, skulls or goblets there. And then there's the storage room, which there's about 4 legendary crates plus like another 3 or 4 more skulls, couple more goblets. And then you get to the treasury room, which again has another 10 or 15 crates plus whatever goblets and skulls and little megalodon figurines could be in there as well. So I mean there's like 30 or 40 pieces of Athena loot just on a raid. It's actually worth it.
That's surprising, because I thought I was under the impression that the kind of similar how like the sea forts generally don't have as much loot when you do a raid 2 than like a emergent one. I was under the impression that the raid voyages for the Garys wasn't going to give you that roughly about 30 pieces, which I think is about average for the emergents as well too. But that's really cool. That's really good to know, because yeah, that's one of those things like I don't really know too many people that are running Athena just for Athena's sake, outside of like Hourglass, but that's nice to know. Anybody else have any thoughts? Godhammer, didn't you? Yeah, you had something you wanted to jump in with.
Yeah, I think as one of like a new environment, they're fantastic. I love them. I think when we get custom servers, they're going to be a great little arena for people to fight over. A good setting for little custom games that people make. I think that's what they're going to be really good for, because it's big enough from one side to the other that you could conceivably do a nice little capture the flag mode there, a nice sort of steal the I don't know, silver cup or whatever. I like that. The event itself is good. It's one of a store of repeatable missions, and for what it is, it's good. It's not going to light your world on fire, but it's at least got a little something more than a ghost fort, which I'm in favor of. Otherwise, yeah, I'd say it's a good addition. Not blowing my world, but it's I don't think that's what it's supposed to do. But for what it is, it's good.
I would agree with you on that. And yeah, I think once we get the custom servers in, I fully anticipate seeing folks put like a grog chest in the middle on the top, or it deep down in the vault itself, and you have to kind of fight your way down against other crews who are kind of positioned on opposite sides of a garrison, and you have to actually like make your way down, grab it, and then make it back to your ship before the other crew has the opportunity to kill you kind of and take it for themselves. But I absolutely think that would be a fun little mode, be able to utilize that in that way. How is everyone feeling as far as the commendations for the logs? Because we did get those kind of ship logs for each of the Garys that you have to open up the vaults for and take over to Reapers to turn in. I'm
going to sound like a broken record here, but I think I've said before in the past that I wish that there was a turn in location. Not just at Reaper. I wish they would have added at least something in the Roar to make it a little bit easier to go back and forth, but that's just my opinion. We were able to get them done. We just had to travel the extra miles to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think having a place in the Roar might be beneficial. I know it's going to be counter to what a lot of people feel about the intent behind being a Reaper, but you're already flagged, and everywhere else gets the, what are they called? Not the captaincy, sovereigns. Everyone else gets sovereigns. Reapers only get one turn in location. So anyone have any oppositions to that as far as like a design implementation, or were you fine with the logs being something that you had to traverse the world for static?
The logs are annoying because of specifically the ashen keys that you need that for some ungodly reason are impossible to find. I don't like the fact that they lowered the chances of finding an Ashen Guardian on an island, and I don't like the fact that they lowered the chances of fishing up a key. The whole concept of this key thing that you need for these latest couple seasons and some of the accommodations, it's like they went out of their way to deliberately nerf and lower the chances of getting this key now. I used to fish up ashen keys all the time, and I would just throw them over the side of my boat because it just wasn't worth my time unless I was close enough to an outpost where I'd just hand them in for doubloons. But now that I need them to get these logs, it's frustrating because I can't get a key, and I actually still need like total of 2 more logs to hand in total, and it's impossible for me to find a key.
Yeah, I think it's definitely you have to go to a specific area to get those Pondies style fishing where you can get some of that treacherous plunder. I know I was fishing up. I was trying to actually get the boot for the good boy on K9, and for whatever reason, everything I was pulling up was either a Pondie or an ashen key or fish bones, and I could not for the life of me get an old boot. So it seems like whatever we want is the thing that seems harder to get. But anyone else, and kind of to the point too, Rare talking about nerfing the number of keys that show up on Gary's. I'm curious if anyone actually did run into an instance where they were able to find 4 keys on a Gary to be able to open up all of the compartments.
So I fished up 2 ashen keys the other day while doing something for a bit. And after I was finished doing the bit, sorry, Chunky, I ended up taking those keys over to a garrison to try and get another scroll, finish the garrison, pulled the keys out, opened 2 of the doors, got a 3rd key out of the door, didn't find any other extra ones on the garrison itself, found my log, and then took that log, and if there had have been a Reaper turnout in the Roar, it would have been less exciting because somebody started trailing me on the way back to Reapers, so I had to navigate them. They actually were the rare kind of player where the white flare actually did mean they were friendly, but there was no way I was stopping for them to give them the benefit of the doubt. Have you seen the people around here? A bunch of thieves.
Rumor has
so
it.
I managed to you've heard that too then. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Rumblings.
Yeah, so I turned the log in, and then I gave them the old boot that I had fished up at the same time, told them to go give it to the dog, and that was a fun little session.
Very nice. Morpheus, I know you've been popping in.
Yeah, so I don't like the fact that they made a hotfix to put the keys into the vaults. So you had to have you can only find 1 on the outer wall when I was finding at least 2 or 3. I've never found 4, by the way. And that southern one always had, not always, but 60% of the time had about 3 keys that you could find emergently until they did the top fix and put them inside the low compartments. And it was a crapshoot of which one you put the key in to get the next key. And I was able to get 2 keys out of the vaults at one of the times to get my 3 keys after they did that top fix. It was just really weird. And they kind of screwed the whole thing up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think a good way to incentivize people to engage with the content is to not limit things that are already scarce and asking people to go through other means. And to this point, this kind of goes around the design of some of the commendations where you're having to go out, kill an eternal guard, get the key, go to a banished treasury, open the treasury, get the actual trident from the treasury, and then go out of your way to go do a Gary just so that you can hit the treasury guard with the pixie stick. It's like something like that involves so many steps that it's like there's a reason why people don't engage with that secret sunken curse thing, because it's so obscure and it's so untalked about that there's so many steps that you have to visit every single shrine and do something there. And if you start to do that, you starting to ask people to invest a lot of time for one thing that could be interrupted or disrupted by other players or just the event in general. And that's always going to be a barrier to entry for wanting people to engage with the stuff that you're putting out there. So I feel like it's one of those things, like do something that fits with the event itself, the introduction of something itself. Try not to pull in things from other stuff that is its own event or something that's going to make it even harder for them to want to engage with that. But did anybody actually go through that process to get that commendation knocked out? No? Yeah. I still haven't done it either because, to be perfectly honest, going out to kill an Eternal Guard to get a trident to then go and do a garrison is just a lot of effort for a little bit of reward.
Sorry, I was distracted for a hot second.
No worries.
I did.
You did?
I actually tried.
Yeah.
Tried is the keyword. So we spawned at Maros. We went to Ruby Falls, and there was a guardian there. We took care of that guardian. There was an Ashen Key guy there too. I was like, well, look at this. The Sea of Thieves gods are smiling upon us today. Well, the gods giveth and the gods also taketh. So we got the trident, and then we made our way to a garrison, which was an emergent one. No Ashen Keys spawned on there, and then we got stuck on the Vault Master. He never spawned.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up opening up the vault room door, and then you have to kill the Vault Master once he spawns, once you get into that room. and he never spawned. The music never stopped. And we were probably there for, I'm not going to lie, probably 45 minutes just running the whole island. And we're like, there's got to be a skeleton stuck in a wall somewhere. Like, there's got to be somebody stuck. Like he should be popping up. And we couldn't figure it out. And we were getting frustrated to the fact of, like, we are going on more than 2 hours just to try and get one commendation done. And we eventually just gave up because nothing was happening. Nothing was spawning. And it was a sad day.
I'm curious because I think in A-Check, remind me if this sounds right, but didn't we run into something like that as well? But we ended up dying for something, and the respawn triggered it to push the skeleton to actually spawn.
Yeah, we both died and then came back and it respawned.
Yeah, because I think, and I don't think it was the treasury. I want to say it was like just a guard because we needed more keys to get to the storage room, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I think we ran into that issue too, where it just wasn't spawning, and it was like, what do you do at that point?
But the treasury guy, there's a captain that spawns with no name, and you have to kill him, and then the treasury key guard spawns, and I think that's still a thing. I don't think they've fixed that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that one of the issues that I'm running into is that I'm afraid that Rare is going to be so focused, since they just have one team kind of working on seasons. They're going to be so focused on working on bugs for the Build Rat Weekender and the eventual like Hourglass, or not the Hourglass, what's it called? Last Ship Standing, that it may not be in the near future that they refine some of the bugs that are coming in for the garrisons. And that's concerning, but unfounded for the time being. Overall, though, would anyone say that the garrisons are a negative to the world or a positive?
I don't think
Positive.
they're a negative at all. Yeah, they're definitely a positive, but like most have said here, I think once people get their commendations done, they're probably not going to revisit it.
So that's 2 positives. Anyone else think that this should have been something else?
Yeah, I think it's a good, iteration on the Sea Forts that we've gotten, like, in the rest of the Sea of Thieves. Yeah, like, again, like what HX said, like, I think once everyone has done their accommodations, unless we do an event that is specifically tied to the Ashen Garrisons, then nobody's going to go back there again. But yeah, it's a nice addition.
I also kind of wish that they would have went with different music instead of using the Ashen Winds event music. I was kind of hoping at least they would use the other fort music, because I thought that was really cool when they came out.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting unique music for these as well, especially just given like the Spanish conquistador styled sea fort music. I was hoping that these would have something a little more Reaper-esque. Was there anything about the garrisons that I haven't covered that you guys wanted to talk about? Or are we good with garrisons?
Did everybody get Duke's contract finished?
I have not, but that's because I haven't been going after Eternal Guards. Looks like I am not alone.
That was a fun little storyline. It was very interesting, but short.
You should do it. There's a good reward at the end.
I don't remember what it is. I feel like I knew it at one point, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah.
The Duke plushie.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Why aren't those in the store? What the heck, Rare? Why can't you buy the little better plushies of some of the other characters other than the ferryman and the Gold Hoarder and Ramsey, I think?
I feel like we need some U2s of those so I can have one like IRL.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be good with that. All right. Well, if we're good on season 18 rounding out, I am curious if people are feeling positive or negative about season 18. There were a lot of delays, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I still think that garrisons were a good addition to the world. I think Eternal Guards are cool as far as like a boss to fight. I think that the AI and the change in tactics to kill them and their attacks, very much worth it. If the purple Disney sticks or the pixie sticks were actually like out in the open world and I could find those on a regular basis, I would really love that. But at this point, they're kind of a dead tool, as I don't really feel like going out to an Eternal Guard to get just 2 out of a vault. Given the amount of stuff, it's just going to take more cannonballs to kill a Megalodon instead of using the pixie stick and like 30 seconds. But overall, I think season 18 good, but clear indication that Rare has a lot of issues with how they are developing the game in lieu of like what's supposedly coming down the line. If they're going to talk about that this coming week on the community direct or not. But anyone else want to throw out a grade or a yay or nay on season 18 before we dive into season 19?
I would give season 18 a C+.
I could understand that. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else want to give a grade or a score to season 18?
I'd say solid middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I would say C.
I'm gonna say B.
B. All right.
C+ for me.
Well, for me, B, like, you know, considering that it's like one team solely working on like every single season, because, you know, the Rare's possibly working on something big for, like, you know, Pirates life size, but, you know, just patents and whatnot.
Yeah, I would probably say that this is a solid C for me, just because they have had a really hard time developing the content. I don't necessarily think that Act 2 was really that fun. There are too many caveats to be able to complete it. But I did appreciate Act 1 and Act 3 for what it brought to the world, even if I didn't necessarily think that the execution was on point. And at this point, I generally judge them based on what they're doing, not the promise of what they're going to do. So for me, they did all right. They could have done better. They have done better in the past. I just wish that they had more people working on this to get the testing done faster so that they could actually make sure that big issues with like the garrisons were working out, or they didn't have issues with just how little engagement there was with the player activated Molten Sands, because a lot of people have been asking for Molten Sands reasons to go there, but this did not seem to really entice people enough. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump into season 19, which is a very interesting season, given that everything that was supposed to come to season 19 was pushed out indefinitely until some point in time when they can find the time or development bandwidth to be able to start working on those the Widow stuff as well as the Kraken stuff. And for myself, I was bummed to hear that the Kraken encounter wasn't going to be getting an update to it, but at the same time, I only see the Kraken once in a great while. So for me, it's not really as impactful, because most of the time the Kraken is more of an inconvenience than something that I go searching for, much like compared to like the ancient megalodons, where those were actually commendations and working towards those. Morpheus, you got some thoughts?
I got a funny story.
Oh,
I was doing that silly achievement where you put the chest of sorrow in your boat and run around with it for 100 nautical miles. And I encountered the Kraken twice in 10 minutes.
That's twice in 10 minutes is nuts. That's
Twice in, that is crazy.
Yeah.
There was possibly a server merge between, so maybe, but it was like the craziest thing. I like got up to go use the restroom and came back and the Kraken was hitting me again. I'm like, what the heck?
I feel like I've seen the Kraken more
Really?
since season 18.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Get Kraken, then Skelly shipped, and then Megged all in like 15 minutes. And then like 30 minutes later, get Krakened again.
I think that's just your luck, though.
Probably.
I think that's just
It's
because
me
Rare
just
knows.
thinking PvP, and they're like, "Oh, there's a sweaty brig trying to fight. Oh, something's going on. Let's put a Kraken on them."
They know the only thing that kills you is PvE, so it's just ramped up for you.
Yes, true.
Static, what were you going to jump in with?
I'm going to be honest. I haven't encountered the Kraken for so long that I actually encountered it last week, and I actually had no clue what was happening. Like, I legit looked at my friend and was like, why'd we stop? Why are we stopping? What's going on? Why are we stopped? My screen's going black. What's happening? What's going on? And then I saw the 10. I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot he was in the game.
That's so funny.
And then we shot it with like 6 cannonballs, and then it went away. So I was kind of really upset because I was expecting a fight, and then I forgot that they made the Kraken a little too easy.
Yeah, you only get the fight when you're on a brig or a galleon with the Kraken.
The fight on a galleon, I'm going to say, is such a pain in the butt. It's like, I feel like you have to take out like 15 tentacles before that thing finally is like, nah, it's not worth eating this thing. Maybe that's just me though. So season 19, without the content that we were anticipating based on insiders, because they had never really announced what they were going to be bringing to it, but they did address it in one of the videos with Drew, which shout out to Drew for putting his face on the front of Sea of Thieves when it comes to dealing with issues. I am pretty happy with what I've seen them change with Hourglass. And as someone who doesn't really like Hourglass, it means a lot when they address a lot of the big concerns. I think that we're attached with Hourglass. It lasts too long. Supplies are a constant issue. There's too much time between matches. There's never anyone raising their flag to get credit for the sync. And a lot of those seem to have been alleviated with this update, which genuinely means that for all intents and purposes, you could jump into a server, hop on your boat, race, anchor, turn off the lights because reasons, and then dive and be ready to go. And I think that speaks a lot to the kind of quality of life updates that the players really want. They want to be able to enjoy the game without necessarily feeling the hurt after losing or trying to get started from the get-go. So I would love to hear from folks about these changes. How have they changed your perspective on Hourglass? If it's positive or negative, do you feel like things are better because of this or not? And just general kind of feedback.
Oh, I've got a lot to say here.
All right.
So general changes overall. So the shrinking boundary, I love that idea. I love the concept, kind of like a battle royale mode. The only thing that you have to watch, and I've seen people do this where they're not paying attention to the sinking or the shrinking circle, and both masts are down, and you have to try to get your mast back up because you need to get back into the circle. And people have lost a lot that way, so it kind of keeps you on your toes there. It does kind of help with people that are just like running around the edge, people that are like trying to go to islands and beach themselves and just TDM. So matches are a little bit quicker than they usually are. I like the faster setup and supplies. So you get the auto flag as long as you're a PL. You get tons of supplies, which I kind of feel like in the future, maybe they're going to nerf that a little bit. Because I think after, 2 or 3 fights, we had 4,000 cannonballs or something like that. And I know I was worried about, server, stability with that, but it may not be a factor. The quick rematch after you sync, you can go all vote, go right back in, get your flag and get your supplies right away again. The auto emissary is nice. Again, if you're a PL, you get it. I thought everybody was going to get it, but then I saw some boats that didn't have it and then realized, they have to be a PL. So there's still boats you can, fight without a flag. But for the most part, most people do have flags. And then obviously the cheater mitigation that they're doing, you have to do the maiden voyage, and you have to do some of the onboarding voyages for the specific emissary trading companies, which kind of helps too, because if somebody gets banned for cheating, they have to go back and create a new account and do all of that just to get back in. So overall, 10 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. Great breakdown. And I appreciate the thoughts on that. Cause I'm kind of with you. I think the fact that I always forget that there's mitigations to people who have been cheating that have been banned and have to go through it. They would have to go through the maiden voyage. Thankfully for Godhammer, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Hammer, because we know that you didn't have to, because you were grandfathered into the experience. I
was so happy about that. Like that alone made it like just perfect for me. Because I'm saving the maiden voyage at this point for like the last day, like period of Sea of Thieves server. That's when I want to do it, because I want to have done like everything. I want to be finished with it, and then on the last day I've got fresh content. I've got something I've never seen before to explore and do on the last day. And that they grandfathered people in for that that's just great. Everything else Well, if you know me, I was always pretty pro Hourglass. I've always been pretty, I enjoy this mode. It makes me happy. I run into, this is not a problem for me. So everything they've done to improve this mode at this point is that's just a big plus for me. I'm just happy because they're all good. I came in. I was a little
Worried?
I was a little like on the fence with like the quick restart, like immediately just voting to dive again.
Yeah.
I was like, we could take that or leave that. I'm not really bothered about that. I was wrong. No, that thing's great. That's a great feature. Love that. Big fan of it. I was wrong to think that I wouldn't want that. No, it's really good. It's really good, and they've done a good thing with it. Everything else, yeah, no, it's good. They've made a good mode even better.
Coming from somebody who does not actively go out of their way to PvP, I'm impressed. Just the speed up time alone makes your loss, when I ultimately will end up losing, feel better. It kind of it's like putting a slight band-aid on a burn. It doesn't really make you feel good, but it gives you that confidence of knowing that there's a band-aid there. And that's what all this update is. It's a nice little band-aid that makes you just feel good. It just speeds up the process, not having to run around the island for about 15 minutes trying to gather cannonballs and just saying, screw it, let's go. And then it's like, hey, you're not at the threshold. Here's another crate. And you're like, cool beans. And it made the experience real fun. And I would actively go into it with more people, knowing how much faster this can be now.
I definitely appreciate that as well too. It's been really, really nice to see that the things that hurt the most when you sync supplies, loot, time, things like that with Hourglass shouldn't be a factor. You should feel like every time you jump in, it's a fresh start. With being able to scoop up other people's supplies, it definitely gets to the point where you're like, okay, I really don't need all of this. Maybe we could grab like a couple of their crates, but you don't need 15 crates. You can absolutely let that stuff sink.
So I get the crates and just hoard everything just to make people think that I was a good player.
There you go.
even though I'm not. And I ended up filling, at one point I filled the cannonball because it's got 2 pages on one of I filled both cannonball storage things to over 3,000, however many it was, and had like almost 5,000 cannonballs on my ship.
Holy cow.
It was like, and to go back onto that, when the cannonball crate, I don't know where their threshold is for so when you get the supply crate, I won a couple in a row, but I always turned in because I don't like losing that reputation on the end. I turned in after winning one battle, and I went back out, and I won several battles in a row, and there was like 5 battles I kept getting a crate, so I kept storing it whenever I'd win and get their crate and storing it, and I got at least probably 3,000 cannonballs before it stopped giving me a crate on my boat.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's bugged. I don't know where the threshold is. I didn't really look. I just remember getting a crate, and it's like, where does it end? It finally did end, and I got four pineapples, and that's when it ended. Like, I won again, and it didn't show up. So I was like, it's just weird. I don't know if it's bugged or if they have a high threshold. But yeah, but all the other changes, Hourglass, like HX said, amazing. Everything's fun. I do find that if you do vote to rejoin really quickly, I end up battling the same person that sunk me before. And the way to get out of that, I just didn't vote again and just waited and then went back and allowed it to auto raise the emissary and all that stuff. But other than that, I don't think it should match you with the same person once you got sunk from them. That's just the one thing I had a buggy instance with.
I think it is definitely going to come down to a personal perspective for that, because I personally don't like rematching against the same people, especially if I've lost. I want to have a different experience, and generally I already go in with a bit of a loser's mindset when I'm facing the same crew that just sunk me. But I know that is a personal thing. Like some people would rather go up against the other crew because maybe it was a good fight, or maybe they were really close and they know they can beat them and they just want to have another chance at them to prove that they can win. So it's tough, because if you start to cut out sections of the player pool for the matchmaking because they are trying to avoid same matchups against the same crew, you may run into that elongated queue time. And that again kind of goes back to the feeling of like, I lost, now I'm waiting for another match. And if you're getting back into another match, hopefully the intent is that you're not lingering too long on the loss. But does that track with anyone, or does anyone have any thoughts on that aspect of it?
On the flip side, you ever beaten somebody who beat you twice? Feels really good, especially if they're talking smack. Feels really, really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't beat somebody that beat me twice, but I beat somebody who apparently was stacking flags and got like 6 flags from them. And I don't think they were very happy. I think they were on like a pretty big streak. That was cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that the overall sense is that the Hourglass matches now are a lot more geared towards helping you feel like you don't necessarily have to worry so much about supplies, and that you'll get rewarded if you win. So that kind of brings me to one of the big questions that I have, which is, how are you guys feeling about the actual earning of reputation on the regular? Because right now we're in the middle of a community weekend, and we've had fight nights last weekend. We've got fight nights coming up this next weekend. So is the amount of levels or reputation that you're earning for wins and losses something that feels like it still needs to be tweaked based on our past conversations in the Gold Hoarder community?
I feel like their answer to that is more fight nights. But if they decide not to do that in the future, I would hope that maybe they would tweak and give a little bit more rep, because it does take a long time to get a couple levels without it.
Like, the base game, like outside of events kind of thing. Is that what you meant, A-Check?
Yeah. Just like the regular Hourglass with no events, no double rep, no nothing. It feels like it takes a while to get the levels.
Yeah, especially if you like say the regular ghost and skeleton curse, or the gold variations of those curses, then yeah, it makes a whole much more sense. That way, for people like me who dread Hourglass because of, don't want to just become like a typical, say Game Awards and whatnot, just there's no thanks. Making anything to make that a lot more tolerable will be much more helpful for people like me who can, handle stress that well. Hell, I take medication for said stress. But that's just me.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. What needs to be tweaked is the loss. The loss needs to be 1/3 of a win instead of 1/8 of a win, as it stands. Just a little bit more than the current loss. But for standard play, the win is about right where it is. You can get a level basically after 2 wins, and then turning it in. That's not bad for where it is right now. It should not get to the point where you're getting a level for every win. That's absurd.
I agree.
As of right now, I would even say they could tweak it so that way if you lose, it's 1/4 of a level. So essentially you have to lose 4 matches to get 1 level. And right now, where you get essentially half a level for a win, so it's 2 wins for 1 level, is fine, actually. But they do need to tweak the losing, because it really is heartbreaking when you lose and it's not double reputation, because it really makes you feel like you did all this work and you almost got nothing for it. Like right now, the only time I truly do diving is fight night. And I teamed up with Godhammer and Tommy D and Wailing Witch, and I was really successful. I was able to gain 11 levels this weekend, so I'm at 51 for Reapers, which I am over halfway to finally getting that skeleton curse, so I can finally get those other combinations. But outside of fight nights, I don't dive because it's just not worth the loss.
So I definitely feel like, from my perspective, the losses feel pitiful. The wins, especially during fight nights, make the most sense to me. It's when I feel like I'm actually investing a decent amount of time in for the effort, that I'll actually get rewarded for it. Outside of then, I genuinely don't think that it's high enough for me to want to spend that time. But that's also coming from an adverse perspective towards doing Hourglass. Whereas I have more fun in Adventure Hourglass. Chick and I, we went and took down 2 ships. Was it 2 ships or 3 ships? I can't remember if we were doing 2 or 3. The two slips and the 1 brig, but I don't know what happened to the brig. But we went after was a Fort of Fortune and scooped up all the loot for a Fort of Fortune by having to take out 2 ships after waiting for the brig to kind of get dealt with by one of the other sloops. And it was just, that's one of those things. It's like, you kind of wait and bide your time and see how things are going to play out. Let other people fight, let other people finish an event. And then you kind of move in and go for the kill while they're not paying attention, or while they're like in a bad situation, and just take advantage of that point. Like, I love that. I love that aspect of Sea of Thieves. It's kind of like third partying a fight between two teams in like Fortnite or Arc Raiders or something. You're just trying to take advantage of a situation and see if you can come out on top and reap the benefits. So for me, Hourglass is more just a tedious act to see who's going to be able to get the 1 ball or a good board, or a death circle on knocking down a mast first, which is fine. It's good for training. It's good for PvP skills and stuff, but it's just not the mode that I find the most enjoyable, because it's just kind of there as a 1v1 me bro. So I would agree with Hammer that I would prefer to have the losses bumped up to about a third. I think having 3 matches or 3 losses to get 1 level is fine, because I think once you would get that bumped in a fight night, you could go up to a half a level for a loss in fight nights, or double gold, double allegiance, and I would be comfortable with that as well too.
Oh, you've misinterpreted what I said. I said needs to be 1/3 of a win. A loss needs to be 1/3 of a win. So you would reach basically what you achieved for 1 win in standard play after losing 3 instead of 8 to get to where you are.
Oh,
not 3 losses to get a level.
But if it's 1 level on fight nights for a win, then 3 losses would be 1
yes,
win.
on fight nights. Yes, on fight nights it would be boosted
Okay.
to that degree, but not in standard.
I think that's
yes. You know what I'm saying.
I do.
Basically, in all circumstances, a loss should give you 1/3 of what you would get if you had won.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would definitely help things. I'm still going to push to have as much reputation and less effort as I can.
I got something I'm going to throw out there real quick. So when I was diving with Godhammer and we were on a brig, I think this was either the first or the second match that we were diving, I got 1-balled by the same guy 5 times in 1 match, to the point where the guy on the other brig actually typed something up that said, "Oh my God, I feel so bad for this guy. I'm pretty sure I've 1-balled him 5 times." And I didn't type anything up, but I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I'm the one that's dead on top of the deck right now. This is the 5th time in a row that I'm waiting on someone to revive me. Yes.
Oof. Yeah, I would have a hard time with that for sure. Was there anyone that wanted to talk any more about the Hourglass experience, or have you guys been pretty comfortable with it? All right.
Hourglass good.
Hourglass good to an extent.
Yep, again, 10 out of 10 for me. Very happy.
A+.
Very nice. Well, that's definitely a lot better than season 18 at this point. So I guess going into that, we'll have to find out a little bit more about what the solidified plans are for the weekend Bilge Rat thing that they're I don't know why it's called a weekender, because it's going to be an entire month. but I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it's going to change each weekend. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. One thing that I wanted to ask, and this is kind of out of the blue, but with the community direct coming out in, at this point, a couple days on Monday, I want to see if anyone has something that they would like to hear Rare talk about from that video. Before we know what it's about, before we know what they're going to say, we have inklings, we have ideas about what they're probably going to talk about as far as cadence and stuff. But is there something that you would like for them to address in this direct? Or will you be satisfied if you hear about this thing, or will you be disappointed if they don't talk about this? If there's something that you guys wanted to hear from them.
Sea of Thieves 2? No, I'm just kidding, but maybe.
Morpheus, what do you got?
I want them to hint at something big that they're going to showcase at the Xbox showcase, but not tell us what it is and say that it's some big thing they've been working on, like either Monkey Island big or Pirates Life big. That's what I want.
I was
I don't
literally
even know
going
what
to
it
say
is,
that.
but that's what it needs to be. I was watching Ghost, what's his name? Ghost something video.
Ghost
made a
Emerald?
video in a while, but yes, that dude did a really good breakdown and actually showed the receipts of where they have said something and hinted towards something and then like put it to what Rare has done in the past. And it was a really good breakdown of like hints of that they're hinting at something really big, but of course they're not going to tell us. They're going to keep it hidden like they did Monkey Island. And like, well, they didn't really keep Monkey Island quite hidden, but they definitely kept Pirates Life hidden to where nobody knew what that was. So, but that's what I want.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm with Morpheus. Yeah, sorry, Logan. Yeah, I'm with Morpheus. Like, well, the pattern has been set before. Like, back when season first started, we got like mediocre seasons to begin with, then come season 3 and the Xbox showcase for the week before, we were blown away by the whoa, Pirates of the Caribbean is coming to Sea of Thieves, and you're also hinting at Monkey Island in the first whole tale alone. Pretty amazing. They did the same thing again with Monkey Island before, and now it seems like it's history repeating itself. And at this point, I'm not gonna say. Well, I have to say, like, to some extent, like, like One Piece or like a Pirates. I don't know, like, not those things, because at this point we need original Sea of Thieves, because of like pure Sea of Thieves original stuff, not like another brand or whatever, because those are cool and all, but we need our own stories. We need to wrap up like a lot of stories, like what Ghost Admiral and Morpheus said, like, we need to wrap up the many story threads that Sea of Thieves has dangling on the thing, like, Flameheart, the GMU, the Widow, stuff like that. And I don't think now is a good time for a crossover thing like One Piece, Legoland Pirates, or anything else. So I'll take Sea of Thieves original content over Sea of Thieves Romance Dawn, featuring the live action cast of One Piece.
Sounds good. How about everyone else?
I am expecting and demanding them to acknowledge my crystal pig.
That would be good. It's been
The
too
ghost
long.
pig wasn't enough.
First step.
No, but they did the glacial pets. They did a glacial pet of everything but the pig. And a glacial pig would have been the closest I would have ever gotten to a crystal pig. So I'm expecting them to be like, hey, and to that one community member out there that is demanding this, we're bringing in a crystal pig. I would be very excited.
Announcement in the community direct. Just wait, just for you.
I can already see Christina being like, "Yeah, we've heard the requests, and we can't confirm when, but we will be adding crystal pigs." They did it for owls. Hammer, what do you got?
Custom servers, that been mentioned yet?
Officially, as like an update?
I mean, right here among us. I was in the bathroom.
Oh, no, I don't think anyone's called out custom servers. That's something that they want to address.
That's what I'm excited about. I don't know if you ever played custom games in Warcraft back in the day. Did you?
Lots of Tide of Blood. It was my preference to Dota.
That is what I'm looking forward to. Now, I have been privileged enough to join in some larger communities for like special events. Specifically, I was around for Mutinous Mel's birthday, where we did a bunch of like little custom games with like no support, and hats off to the people who went in for setup and just spent the morning gathering like supplies upon supplies and treasure and all that. It was wild. We got there and we did. They had to collect like something like half a 24 stools. They collected 24 stools so that we could play musical chairs, which was great fun. Then we did a round of Anchor Wars, which is where you have two ships on either side of an island, and then you have teams shoot over to each other's ship trying to raise the anchor of the opposing ship on galleons, which was a lot of fun. And then finally we did basically what I can only describe as Hungry Hippos, where we had a large pile of loot sitting in the middle of the west side of Reapers.
Okay.
And the teams gathered on opposing galleons, and then you had to rush into the middle, grab loot from the pile, and then bring it back to your galleon. And then I believe it was Captain Levi who counted everything out at the very end. Now, they haven't announced it yet, but they are putting via insiders switches into the game as a way of keeping score. They're bringing back silver as a custom seas resource that counts, that tracks score, and you can customize like the parameters by which you score things. And silver is the currency with which you keep score in that manner. I would go, if you're part of Insiders right now, I would go look into the Insiders archive that talks about switches in custom seas, because it's going to be a fairly powerful tool that will allow you to create games that allow for like scoreboard mechanisms.
Yeah.
I did have a conversation with Status Hidden, who did say that it's not quite there for the purposes of like bringing back Arena. He says that there's a few things that need to be added to that, but I say at this point it's a good start. And one of the things that they did say is that they are going to allow multiple presets for different like switch toggles, so you can set up games as presets, and you just have to load that preset rule to immediately bring in different games into your custom server quickly and on the fly, that's huge. This is the sort of thing, like, you're basically only a blank island and the ability to like put terrain and little props and so on and rocks and all that onto a blank island from this game, basically reaching a point where it never truly dies, and that all you really need is an imagination, some time, and just a community to keep it going. And that's huge. I think custom servers, the way they're setting up, like if this is like version 1 and they're going to keep updating it, which I assume they will because it's a paid feature, paid for one person to like host the server. Everybody else who joins into it doesn't have to be paying. That's an important thing to point out, is that one person pays to host the server, and then you don't have to be a paying member to join that server, just the person hosting. But I was already fairly excited for it. Them introducing switches to create custom games put me over the top. I'm very excited at this point. I'm hugely excited, and I'm looking forward to them addressing that in the direct.
Yeah, I'd be good with that as well too. For myself, I genuinely just want to hear them address the feedback about the development cycle and how they are going to continue developing the content for the game that is addressing the issues that have constantly been a problem for them. They have always told us that they know they're going to pivot and go a different route, but that route is just a different version of how they've done things in the past that, again, did not work out, be either through ambition or lack of judgment on what they anticipated to do because of scope. But I genuinely just want them to be brutally honest with themselves before making any future promises to the community, because I think the trust level right now for Sea of Thieves is at its lowest. We haven't had too many times like this. I think the last time we had this was when we had that exceptionally long season that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like 7 months of just one season, and that was painful. But we understood why they were doing it. It was because they were building the tall tales, but they genuinely need to be a lot more honest with themselves about how much content is going to be coming in things, what they can reasonably put out and test, and that they get that content out to insiders sooner so that it can be stress tested by a lot larger group of people with different machine and equipment to be able to get whatever specs they need to make those tweaks. But I just want them to be a lot more earnest in their attempt to regaining some of that lost trust. Did I miss anyone, or you guys, everyone get a chance to shout what they wanted? Alrighty. Well, I've kept you guys for long enough. Community weekend's going on right now. Make sure you are going out and hunting down those cakes so that you can get the reward for that, which I think is a title. If I'm right on that, I haven't done it yet. I've been waiting for the weekend so that I can jump in and actually go do those. But go get your gold. What is it? I think. I'm gonna say Caleb was messaging me about gold. And I'm trying to find where he was actually messaging me about the gold and doubloon currency exchange rate right now. I think 50 doubloons equals 25,000 gold. And because Rare is doing the the doubloon sword based on earned gold, not necessarily what's in your pockets, I think this is going to be the last opportunity for people to have double gold in glory to convert any of those doubloons before they get converted into gold at a higher rate than what we don't know at the moment. Because right now we don't know what the 1-to-1 conversion of doubloons is going to be on the 16th of April when they get rid of them. We know that it's going to turn to gold, but we don't know what that ratio is. So I would suggest I'm probably going to go in and dump a lot of my doubloons into gold during Golden Glory, so that I can actually get a little bit more than what I'm anticipating the conversion is going to be after doubloons go away in April 16th. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Let's go ahead and work our way down the list as we say goodbye and let everyone else get back to the rest of their weekend. So, Chick, we're heading out. Anyone you want to shout out or anything you got going on that you want to share?
Nothing that I got going on currently. I'm planning on jumping into community weekend and trying to earn some extra gold and get some commendations done. But yeah, appreciate you having me.
I'm glad you're here. Morpheus, we're heading out. Thanks for joining in from work, or maybe not work, maybe someplace where you have computer, but not actually work, technically, because who would do that on the clock?
It's a boring day over here, but no, yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, that's, I just want to say, yeah, there's a lot of stuff being given away this weekend. Make sure everybody's getting all that stuff, the punch card and all that other stuff. So yeah, see you next time.
Appreciate having you. And yeah, good shout out. There's a lot of illustrious stuff being put out through in-game rewards, as well as the pop-up plunder. You've got the flag through the punch card system on Microsoft Rewards. You've got the ancient coin pack if you want the illustrious sales. And I actually can't remember how do you actually get the crossbow or Eye of Reach? Hammer, you got that handy?
Oh, sorry. No. Oh, no.
How dare you
Whoops.
on my podcast, sir?
126. 126. Say again.
I'm trying to remember how you actually get the illustrious Eye of Reach. That looks like the reskin of the crossbow. I can't seem to find.
That was the rewards, or the
Game Pass.
to buy the ancient coins. What was it? Oh, that was the sales.
It's the Game Pass.
The sales is the other one. Yes, Game Pass. Good call.
There it is. So yeah, make sure you guys, if you have Game Pass, there are in-game benefits in that Xbox Game Pass setting. head over there, make sure that you redeem the code for that, so then you can apply it to your Microsoft account to get the illustrious sniper that looks like the crossbow from the whatever the vampire set was in the Emporium. Outside of that, we've got the I think that's about it for giveaways and stuff. Yeah. But all right, moving on down the list, we've actually got Godhammer. Anyone you want to shout out or anything you got going on you want to share?
Surprised me there. I was unready for that. I thought I was about to do my shout outs. I've just got my crew, as always. Wailing Witch, Tengu, Rainbow Sam, who I'm going to actually be meeting soon. I'm heading off to the UK and we're going to be meeting. I'm
Yay.
excited. I would also like to thank all the people who I sailed with on fight nights. A-Chick, Jordasile, Wailing Witch, Vanilla Gorilla, Captain Chonky, Elvin Vramir, CaptainLogun, Static Mirror, Tommy D, and myself. I did 3 solo and 1 all 3.
Nice. Good rank right there. All right. Next up, we have Regis Estella. Anything you've got going on or anyone you want to shout out?
Not much, to be honest, but though I am going to see the Mario movie on the 2nd of April with my mates with my mates at a mental disability group kind of thing, like people like me, who have autism and stuff like that, go out, hang out, and on Thursday we're going to go see the Mario Galaxy movie, and I'm looking forward to it because I enjoyed the last one, how I saw it twice, which is a first for me.
Yeah, I am genuinely excited for that, and the special characters that they're bringing in for it, so I will be looking forward to checking that out as well.
Donald Glover as Yoshi was not what I expected. Apparently he campaigned to voice as Yoshi, apparently.
Hey, man.
Why I have...
Everyone's got dreams.
Yeah. Just didn't realize Donald Glover was a big Mario fan, let alone a Yoshi fan.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a pretty straightforward role. It's not like, and he's a good actor, so why not? Somebody's got to do it. Static Mirror, sir, if you're still around and you're not putting up wrestling rings, anyone you want to shout out or anything you got going on?
Yeah. First off, I got to shout out Godhammer, Wailing Witch, and Tommy D. Because of you, I was able to raise my rank up 11 levels. So thank you. I am not good at PvP, but with your support, I feel like I'm decent. Other than that, if you are a fan of wrestling by any means, please go out, see your local independent wrestling promotion, and support the wrestlers. They definitely need it. And if you're in the greater Wisconsin area, you can come support the promotion that I work for, which is Showtime Professional Wrestling. Other than that, thank you for having me on, as always, and goodbye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I appreciate you guys all jumping in to hang out with me and talk about Sea of Thieves for another month. I look forward to seeing how things shake out with April as we get closer and closer to that deadline for the doubloons. Also, make sure you guys are going out and getting your pop-up plunders, your fishing up a bronze pondy so that you can get that really coveted double barrel pistol cosmetic that I know everyone was looking forward to because they actually did the Twitch drops this weekend and we hit the community goal. So there's actually some additional stuff that came in with that. That's actually kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I love the hats. I love the cosmetics that they've added as a result of hitting those goals. So because of that, they are handing out the the Reigning Morning Star hat, gloves, and belt that will be available. And that is kicking off from, I think, the 31st to April 5th from that time as a result for some additional Twitch drops. So keep an eye out there. You only have to watch for 3 hours for any participating Sea of Thieves streamer after the 31st to get those 3 items as a result of people putting in 8,000 bronze pondies. But as far as I've heard, I think there was someone who actually got the cosmetic without actually turning in a bronze pondy. I think if I recall correctly, actually I'm going to find it in the Twitch chat. I know someone was mentioning that.
Mad Love Inspiration.
Mad Love, that's right. Thank you. So make sure you guys are getting that cosmetic and you guys are getting your cake stuff for this one. So Outside of that, Twitch drops. Make sure you guys are getting them. Hopefully you guys get pop-up plunder. And I think that's going to do it. So thanks for everyone coming in. All right, Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. I hope you enjoyed the Gold Hoarder episode that we did. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you're always welcome to reach out to us or myself through the Discord or through email at captlogun@gmail.com. Also on social media at CaptainLogun, Logun on most social medias there. Fern says goodbye. And Pirates, with that, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.